Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gardening Mindfully. I hope you're having a truly amazing day. Today, I'm harvesting onions that I planted in containers 4 months ago on February 14th. It's my first time growing onions in containers, so I'm really overjoyed. So I had hay on top just to help to retain moisture. But as you can see, it is still pretty dry and I haven't really been good about watering. Look at the size of that onion and look at the root system. So if I had done better with watering, we would have gotten much larger onions. It's really dry, really dry. So in this container, I had started with 6 seed onions, and here is our harvest. And the soil is pretty dry. So had I done better about watering, our onions would have been much larger. These are what is called short day or sweet onions that I planted from onion sets. So I did not plant actual onion seeds. I started with onion sets. And I planted short day onions because they grow best in zone 7 and warmer zones, so they're ideal for my zone 8A garden. Sweet onions are typically white onions with a high sugar content and has a really mild flavor. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced gardener, there are 5 things to remember to successfully grow onions. 1 is sunlight, 2, soil, 3, spacing, 4, fertilizing, and 5 is water. You will notice that these containers were placed in full sun, so choose a location that receives 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily. My soil was also well draining, which is a loose, fertile soil, and I placed each onion set about 4 inches apart. Fertilizing. Onions are hungry plants. I use 10-10-10 fertilizer at the time of planting, but you may also use blood meal or even bone meal. In addition to 10-10-10 when planting, I also added fish emulsion to the water on the occasions that I did water my onion plants. The 5th thing to remember to successfully grow onions is watering. Onions require regular watering in order to develop large bulbs. Had I been more consistent with watering my onion plants, they would have produced larger bulbs. You might be wondering, how did I know it was time to harvest my onions? I knew it was time to harvest the onions because the leaves began to flop over, they were turning yellow because they were starting to dry out. So that's a sign that the bulbs have stopped growing and it's as big as it's going to get. Now that we have harvested the onions, the next step is what we call curing. Curing is the process of preparing your onions for long-term storage. Basically, all we do here is to spread the onions out in a single layer in a dry, well-ventilated area for about 2 weeks. During this time, the outer layers will dry and form a protective skin that keeps the onions firm and fresh. After curing, our onions are ready for storage. But before we do that, we'll go ahead and trim the tops and the roots, and then we'll store them in a dark, dry, cool location and we should have onions for several months to come. This was my first time growing onions in containers, and I'm really pleased with the size of the bulbs. However, next time I'll be a bit more diligent about watering. That way, the plants will receive consistent moisture and the soil will not dry out, and we'll end up getting larger bulbs. If you have had success growing onions, feel free to share any tips you think will be helpful in the comments. Thank you for watching and for supporting the channel by liking and sharing this video. Happy gardening and see you in the next video.